So we lose our 10% bonus damage. This might seem like the end of the world, but trust me, it's not. What we'll end up with is some attacks being stronger than before, others being weaker, but overall, about the same damage. Brothers, sisters, my fellow Peter Parkers, welcome. You can think of this as an update to yesterday's video, but I prefer to think of this as a funeral. It's over. The strategists won. The Cloak and Dagger mains won. We lost. Good game, well played. You guys were the better side. It's over. Spider-Man's trash. He's garbage, guys. Just know, Cloak and Dagger mains, this means war. We Spidey mains, we're gonna rise up. We're gonna ban Cloak and Dagger every game. If we can't play our hero, you can't play your hero. Nah, I'm just kidding. Mostly. That was 65% a joke. Unless. But Evil Duck. But he got buffed. I saw he got buffed. His damage numbers are higher. In case any of you guys haven't figured out the relationship between the change in damage numbers that we just got directly nerfed. Yes, we got 5 damage on a couple of attacks, but that's 5 damage that we just lost from the 10% anchor bonus. Let me just break this down real quick. We lost damage on our punch. We lost damage on our kick. The damage on our overhead is unchanged. We lost damage on our tracer. We lost damage on get over here. Our damage on get over here targeting is unchanged. We lost a tiny bit of damage on our uppercut. Something that's quite easy to lose in these calculations is the tracer proc. That's going to be decreasing as well. And what do we get in return for all of this? The burn tracer. Is the burn tracer good? I don't know for sure, but my feeling is no. It just looks like a regular tracer, but worse. Bear in mind, to get that tracer team up in the first place, you've got to have a Human Torch on your team. And he was one of the least picked heroes last season. And he's going to be even less picked this season because he got nerfed too! It's insane. What I said about the anchor bonus being meaningless last video, yeah, it's meaningless. He got a buff, which was actually a nerf. His anchor bonus is plus 5% damage. They reduced the damage on every single one of his abilities by more than that. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting the team up that often. And when we do, it's like, what, 1 extra tracer? It's easier to hit, but that's it. It lowers the skill floor. But in terms of like the most burst damage you can do, maybe it will go up. Maybe we'll get some nice animation cancels, but I just don't know. And I'm not convinced that that's going to be enough. All right, one thing I do want to do is sort of go over which combos are changing. I mentioned last video that I would tell you about any new combos that come up. There might be some stuff involving the burn tracer. We didn't really get much info on that as far as I know. I'll lab some of that soon, but let's just work with Spidey's base kit at the moment. Now, of course, we are not getting any new combos because none of our attacks do more damage. We're not going to be able to hit any thresholds that we couldn't before. The only difference is that now some of our combos that did work don't work. I think a natural place to start is sort of the combos that arise after this bread and butter opening. As of season 2.5, that opening does 198 damage. That's about to go down to 190. In terms of follow-up options, this sort of following up with 2 tracers, that's still going to work on 250 HP targets, but it does exactly 250 damage, which means that if they get literally any amount of healing, it could be 1, it could be 0.5, they're going to live. That means the same is going to go for this little weave combo since it's all the same actions, just in a slightly faster order. And the same is going to go for this sort of noob combo where you shoot off 3 tracers before going for your bread and butter. That is to say, this sort of stuff, it's really not going to get the job done very often anymore. Now, a bread and butter followed by an overhead, that's not going to cut it anymore. That's 245 damage, which will kill nothing. So if you're a fan of this short blink combo, it's going to have to look something more like this with a tracer at the end. On the other hand, our long blink follow-up, that's still going to work just fine. This does plenty of overburst damage already. That's now going to do 320 damage, so that's still pretty much unaffected. But you are going to have to hit your second tracer. That's not going to kill. That's effectively just another short blink, but slower. Another combo that's not going to work is following up with Punch Tracer. This was already kind of a fringe option, but now it's 245. It's just unusable. The Panther combo is going to work. This is going to do 290 damage though, which means it can kill the 275 strategists, but it can't kill Panther, which is what it was designed to do, so it's not the greatest option anymore. I mean, I wasn't really killing Panther with it that often because he moves pretty quickly. That means that this sort of reverse Panther, as I like to call it, this also does 290 damage. It's another one that I don't think is that useful, but maybe now we'll see it being used more now that our other options are getting worse. Now this next one is the one that I am the most sad about. This sort of 1-2 combo, as I like to call it, doesn't kill. That's going to do 235. This is a real shame because it was our fastest combo, but what it's going to have to look like now is going to be more of a, another tracer at the end, which is just that bit slower. People might out-heal it, but more importantly, it's one more tracer that you've got to hit. There is a variation of this which uses the overhead slam instead of the punch. This used to kill 275, but now it's going to do 265 damage, so not quite enough. Again, you can just add an extra tracer in at the ends to hit your threshold, but like, come on. Another change that I'm especially sad to see is going to be the fishing combo. This used to be able to kill 275 strategists, now it does 260 damage. Again, you can use another tracer at the end to finish this off, but it's just like annoying. There is one kind of funny consequence of this, which is that the GKR, which is kind of a meme combo, is now actually going to be viable. I had to pre-damage Panther because it doesn't kill 300 currently, but the GKR is going to do exactly 275 damage, which means it will be able to kill your Lunar Snows and your Mantises if they don't have passive healing up, which they probably will. I mean, it'll kill Moon Knight if he's got no healing and doesn't hit his Crescent Throw. Yeah, it's dicey, but I'm sure that Jash, who came up with the GKR, is going to be very excited. He has long awaited the day when the kick is going to be competitively viable, and it's not quite there, but I mean, it's technically actually better than the punch in this one circumstance for once. Alright, last couple things. This Fame Stack combo, the overhead tracer Fame Stack, that no longer kills. That's 235 now. That means that just to kill a 250 hero, you're going to have to hit this flick at the end. And the Sapper and Fame Stack, well, that's the same inputs in a different order, so you're still going to have to hit that flick at the end. I already wasn't using this much in games. I probably should have been using the Fame Stack more, but like, I'm never going to use this now. That overhead opener that I showed in the last video, well, you're never going to believe it. That's not going to kill either. You're going to have two options for how to make this combo work. Either you can do what we've been doing with all of our other tracers and just add another tracer at the end, or instead of Get Over Here, you can use Get Over Here targeting. Both of these options are going to do exactly 275 damage. Now we can end on a slightly higher note. The yo-yo is mostly unaffected. This is still going to do 290 damage, assuming you can hit all of your tracers. But if you do not hit all of your tracers, you're out of luck. If you even add a tracer at the end, that's not going to kill. That's going to do 245 damage. Just not quite enough. The last thing I wanted to check out was how these changes are going to affect a sort of drive-by playstyle. So I'm a big fan of going for these bunny hops, trying to hit your target with the tracer that you're bunny hopping with, and then landing an uppercut. If you land that, you're looking to turn around and re-engage with another tracer into Get Over Here targeting an uppercut. This already does tons of damage and it's still going to do 325, so it's good to know that this sort of stuff is still going to work, but it's quite mechanically demanding with the uppercut nerfs. So with all that being said, what is the moral of the story? Enjoy Spider-Man while you can. I did not think I'd be saying that about Season 2.5, but Season 3's a wash, guys. Hope for better luck in Season 3.5. Now, hopefully the Burn Tracer exceeds my expectations, and we're going to get a lot more to work with in the way of new combos. It's going to be difficult to say anything for sure until we're in the game and we sort of see the animation timings of everything, but I'll probably do some preliminary labbing using the tools that I've got. If I just sort of make some assumptions about the animation cancelling, I should be able to get a bit of a head start on what sort of combos we might have. That's all I've got time for today. I've got to really quickly edit this all together. This has already taken too long. Talking while doing these combos has proven a little bit too difficult for my brain. Anyway, I'll get onto that Burn Tracer stuff when I can, but that's going to be all for now. Cheers.